Hey guys, what's up? This is Tom Fountainhead. I have a little bit of a special episode for you here, my 30 days of guitar challenge on Fountainhead TV, where I give you guys one free guitar lesson every month. We are still in Fretboard Knowledge territory, so week number 2, and it's supposed to be day number 6, where I give you the hardest and most challenging lick of this week, which should keep you busy for a couple of days. So problem is, today has a special problem, and that is I recorded the day 6 episode, and I was pretty happy with it. Stored it on my hard drive and then went away, and I came back looking at the lesson, wanted to render it, found out that the audio was missing. Okay, shit happens. Let's just do it again. So I plan to track this episode tonight. Now, unfortunately, life got in the way, and it got in the way in a very specific way because I helped my friend install acoustic panels in his home studio today. Now, we were cutting these acoustic panels with knives, and this little thing here happened. I'm not going to die from it, but it will still keep me from playing guitar properly for the next couple of days. Okay, so what to do? I thought I will still try and give you the episode that you guys deserve. The only problem now is that I will not be able to play the lick as intended because it's a pretty fast line and it's a lead guitar line, like you would expect. Fortunately, though, I have recorded this very line, and this is where I got the idea for today's lesson from, in the Kiesel guitar solo contest video that I did a couple of days ago. So you will have the lick in the tab, and you will have your reference example of me playing it at full speed with distortion, everything on the fretless guitar in this video, which I'm going to link somewhere here. Okay. And I put on a clean tone and I will play this example for you slowly. I will try to avoid using my index finger as much as possible. So I will not guarantee for any playing quality today, but we're still going to get through it and you will learn something, I promise. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Oh man, that thing's hurting pretty bad. Okay, I hope that came across nevertheless. So what is this and why is it important? Right, so let's go back a couple of years. And when I first heard Eric Johnson play. Now, if some of you don't know who Eric Johnson is, shame on you, because he's one of the greats of the instrument of all time, at least in my opinion. And I would hear him play these wide intervallic lines. Let's see if I can spontaneously do something that is reminiscent of that. Sorry, let's try this again. Something like that. So he will do that in a chordal context, clean like I'm playing it now, where the notes ring into each other. And he will also play this in a lead guitar context. And it sounded so beautiful to me that I got obsessed with playing like that for a while. And I tried to retrace the steps that necessary to arrive at, this kind of result. And I asked myself, so how does he come up with these shapes and these combinations of intervals? Because they're not based in the traditional inversions of triads, right? So for example, this thing here that I played in the lick, right? This is G, F sharp, and D. Right, so you could say, okay, it's an inversion of D, right, with D and F sharp being a major third apart. But then you have G, so it already would be a G major sus, a G sus, Jesus. Whichever way you look at it, it's not a an inversion of a traditional triad arpeggio. So it's something more beautiful, but also a little bit more complicated. And over the years, working with intervals in the way that I explained to you in the first video, so this is kind of like tying all the knots together today. In this first video of this week, I showed you how I would sequence the different intervals in one position of the major scale. Right, so we would play thirds, and so on and so forth. And working with these intervals, especially the bigger ones, like the minor or major sixth or the minor or major seventh, is something that I think is sorely missing from a lot of people's playing. Because if you are a player, like admittedly I was up until my mid or early 20s, where I would be playing purely by muscle memory and just run through scale patterns, then playing bigger intervals like that was pretty scary because I didn't know where they were on the fretboard. I didn't have enough fretboard knowledge, right? And so I hear that in a lot of players that they will shy away from using bigger intervals. And it's always going to be like these smaller ones that are within their comfort zone, which they can visualize on one string, maybe, like thirds and seconds. So first of all, working with the bigger intervals will open up a whole new world of sound and possibilities for you. And then what happens is that if you did the exercise properly that I showed you in day one this week, going through especially the bigger interval combination, sequencing them in one position, and then you move on trying to, let's say you take a sixth interval, right? And then instead of doing this in one position, you do it through the different positions, going horizontally up and down the neck. So let's see if I do this in C major here without using my index finger. Right, so if you do that, you gain a lot of insight into your guitar, gain a lot of fretboard knowledge, where to go, where not to go, and you learn to appreciate and hear the sound of these intervals in your head. So that's great. Loads of benefits in that one. Now, if you do that often enough, you will find that you want more, that you maybe want to combine more than one big interval into, this kind of thing. How convenient. Now we're in Eric Johnson land. And what I did here is I played a G, played an E, so already that's a major sixth. And then I played to the E, I played a C. So a major sixth. Right? And you have all these different combinations once you available to you once you get to that level where you can see these bigger intervals light up on the fretboard. I can see now onto the fretboard, and I can see that between this note and this note there's a minor sixth, right? And I know how it sounds because I've put in the work. I can still do more, no doubt about it, but this has been a big improvement for me over the years. And so, again, now we are in Eric Johnson land, and we can combine these bigger intervals per string skipping, for example, but not necessarily into these beautiful sounding mini chords. You can just try all sorts of stuff and see whether you can go logically from one to the next, like Eric Johnson would within a scale. something like that. And this is where we get, finally, I hope you still enjoyed this long, winding explanation, where we get to today's lick, because this is where I'm doing just that. We're playing on top of a, this is awkward, top of a D type, D major type backing track. And so we can create these very fluid and interesting lines if we do this Eric Johnson type thing, and we're stacking up these bigger intervals, and we're going through the scale, and we're trying to find a logical progression between one of these constructs and the next until we finally get somewhere, right? So yeah, that's the basic concept. And what I'm starting off with here is this combination of a minor seventh and a minor sixth. Beautiful. And then the next one, oh, and by the way, we're always going up 3 notes, going up 3 notes, going down 3 notes. Oh, going up 3 notes, going down 3 notes. Right, and until we get to this point. So, again, 7th and 6th. Then the next one is a major 3rd and a minor 6th. Also beautiful. Then we have another between D and B. We have another major 6th, and then between B and G, another major 6th. Then we between the descending between A and C, another 6th, minor 6th. And then we have D and F sharp, because we're in the key of D major. Then we have another minor 6th. And then, oh, this is painful. Then we have that thing here where we got G and F sharp, so the major 7th, and between F sharp and D, you have the major 6th. And at this point, I'm using the D as a jump-off point for a B minor arpeggio, which leads us back into safe ground, so to speak, before I top it off with this little double stop thing. Using chromatics and using little parts of the scale, so that kind of ties in again with the other things we've been learning this week, how to approach target tones with chromatics and all this good stuff. If you've missed that, please go back to the last couple of videos of this week. So yeah, that's the idea. You want to study these bigger intervals, and you want to study them not only horizontally but vertically, and vertically and horizontally. And you want to get this to a point where you can see them, hear them, feel them on a fretboard, so you can not only play one interval but several of those big ones, combine them into these wide intervallic, beautiful sounding licks that you can use in a chord way or with single notes. It's all good. Anything can be done with this. But the most important part is that these are sounds that you don't have at your disposal necessarily otherwise, if you're coming from learning triads, learning this and then learning this. These inversions, they don't necessarily take you in a straight line from learning these to suddenly coming up with these wide intervallic, more oblique sounds. So you have to come to this from your study of the bigger intervals on the entire fretboard. And I hope that this was still beneficial and a learning experience for you. I hope I could help you out in this entire week, hopefully boosting your fretboard knowledge a little bit. And sorry about, my inability to give you today's lick in its proper form. Again, the video where I'm playing that lick is linked somewhere between here. And fortunately, I have all the other videos recorded already, and I already looked over all of those, and the audio is intact. So I hope this will be the only faux pas in this 30-day series. So without further ado, I'm going to say good night. Happy practicing. Leave your comments and questions below. Ring the notification bell so you can see the next videos when they're being uploaded. Follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram, to get the tabs for this lesson if you should need them. Please do check out my instructional video at www.beyondthestrings.de if this is not advanced enough for you, because in this video there's all the very advanced stuff. And that's it from me for today. I'm going to rest my finger now, and I'm wishing you a good night, happy practicing, and take care. Bye.